One day, I was asked, was it ever fun flying the world's fastest jet? It had to just be fun for a moment somewhere there. It was dangerous, intense, scary, important. Yeah, it was all those things. But one day, it was just fun for a minute. Walter and I were doing a little training route around the United States. We take off out of California, hit a tanker in Idaho, accelerate up to Montana, hit the high Mach over Denver, hang a right turn to New Mexico, out of the Los Angeles basin, up the coast of California, hang a right turn to Seattle, back into Sacramento in 2 hours and 30 minutes. And we do that just to get some practice, refueling time, and so, you know. Well, one day we were doing this and we made the turn to Tucson, and I could see downtown LA from Tucson. And it's one of those summer afternoons, just like a day like today, where the whole western United States is bathed in a warm summer glow. It's 6 o'clock in the evening, and it's just a beautiful, this air is smooth as glass, nobody's on frequency, it's like 6 o'clock in the evening. We're just, I'm thinking, we bad. We're blowing cactus down 17 miles high. And we're feeling pretty good. And I'm thinking, gosh, poor Walter in the back seat, he's got to monitor 5 radios. So I'm going to pick the toggle switch up to listen to what he's listening to. And he's listening to Los Angeles Center controlling all the bug smashers and mortal planes below us down there. Now those of you that fly know this is true. All the controllers want to sound like Gene Kranz of Apollo 13. They all have the same voice. Houston, we have a problem. Now this is okay with pilots because when you're in your fighter jet over Oklahoma City one summer in a thunderstorm, out of gas and ideas, wetting your pants, you want to hear that warm, in-the-womb voice. Radar contact, descend and maintain 7,000, runways 4 miles, 1 o'clock. You want to hear that voice. Now, of course, as a fighter pilot, you're only allowed to sound like Chuck Yeager or John Wayne. That's your voices. You can't, say, hey, good morning, tower, would like to take a... No. It's got to be guns like check, 2, 3, check. It's got to be very cool. Now, controllers like that because you're on and off frequency quickly. And we like that controllers never show any emotion and they're just very in the womb. Okay, so if you understand that, you'll appreciate this story. Walter's monitoring LA Center and all the Cessnas are calling for ground speed checks. LA Center, Cessna November Alpha, have you got a ground speed readout for us? And you can just see the controller rolling his eyes like, who cares? But he's got to give him that same presidential voice. See, you could be John Glenn or Joe Bag of Donuts on your first Cessna ride. You get the same voice. That's what's so great. Cessna November Alpha, we show you 90 knots, 90 knots on the ground. And right after that, a twin Bonanza came up. And you guys that fly know this is true. They all talk like this. LA Center, yeah, we got a ground speed readout. You could just see him like, God, it's Friday, why me? But he's not going to say that. Twin Beach, we show you 120, 120 knots on the ground. And right after that, a Navy F-18 Anna Lamore popped up on frequency. And you knew it was a Navy guy because he talked very cool on the radio. Center Dusty 5-2 speed check. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Dusty 5-2 has a ground speed indicator in that $1 million F-18 cockpit. Why are we calling Center to broadcast our... Oh, I get it. We're just the meanest, baddest, fastest military jet in the valley today. We want everyone from Mount Whitney to the coast to know what real speed is. We're taking our little Hornet jet right into Death Valley and be back. And you can almost hear the glee in the controller's voice, like, yeah, finally put an end to this. Dusty 5-2, we show you 620, 620 knots on the ground. And folks, there was a hush on frequency. There wasn't an airliner from Seattle to San Diego that wanted to be next on frequency. And I'm thinking, is this a ripe situation or what? As I reach for the mic button, I remember that, oh, Walter's in charge of the radios. Yeah, I used to fly single seat. I'm in the family model now. I can't, the crew, no, I can't do this. And I thought, no, it's the Navy. They must die and they must die now. I thought, no, but we're a crew. I want us to be a crew. I don't want to overstep. And at that moment, I heard the click of the mic button in the back seat. Ladies and gentlemen, Walter and I became a crew at that moment. His very best, innocent Danny Glover voice. Center, this is Aspen 30. You got a ground speed readout for us? And you can almost hear the collective gasp on frequency, like, who would be stupid enough to... But the cool part is he couldn't show any signs, just that same voice. Aspen 30, we show you 1,994 knots. And I want you to know that we did not hear another transmission. So, for just a second, it was the coolest, funnest thing being an SR-71 pilot. And in my book, I write about all the other times that were scary and not so fun. I'll leave you with this final thought before I show you this last little clip, since you liked that first clip so much. I got another one here for you. You're going to meet a lot of no people. And again, I love talking to audiences like this because you folks get it. I don't have to explain it to you. And I love the way you hurdle those no people the same way I've done in my life. And for all the dreams that you make come true for all those people out there, and all the miracles that you create for people around the world, people who will never ever come back to this stage or ever know all that you do. And I will tell you that just because you have a great idea and a great philosophy, and even if you follow my tenets of fearlessness and making the most of each day and living your passion, you will still have a hopeless situation staring you in the face many days. And when you come across those hopeless moments where you just don't know how you're going to raise the money, you don't know how you're going to build the project, you don't know how you're going to enact your incredible idea, I want you to remember this story. One day, an SR-71 took the runway at Kadena Air Base, and he swung that long black nose out onto the runway, rolled down straight, waited about 20 seconds for the takeoff time. And the pilot at the very tip of that beautiful black airplane could look through the window in the front. He could see the hospital that he had laid in 12 years earlier on a 153-degree heading 2.4 miles off the end of that runway. And legend has it, on takeoff that day, the SR-71, instead of climbing straight ahead out to the tanker over the South China Sea at about 40 feet, some say lower, made a hard 90-degree left turn and went ripping across a certain soccer field, sending kids running and screaming and crying and jumping and waving. So excited they canceled practice that day. Rattled every window in a certain hospital. Those kids were screaming, and even though the pilot could not hear those kids at that moment, he had heard them. One day, a long time ago, the jet came back to course after alerting the entire base. To their credit, Walter, the commander, who was nervously with binoculars on the runway, never said a word. And it was at that moment things had come full circle for me. And I had realized that there was a purpose for many of the things I couldn't understand. And that sometimes there's a bigger plan for us in life than the plan that we want to acknowledge. If you want to make God laugh, make plans. So what do fighter pilots do today after fighting communism and flying jets? Shoot pansies, of course. For those of you that said you remembered the words, just a refresher course for you, in case you just thought you did.